Matt Bevin is a gentleman who has been fighting the Republican establishment, the most powerful Republican in the Senate, Mitch McConnell. They had a Republican primary for governor on Tuesday in the great state of Kentucky, and Matt Bevin won. Now, he won by just 80-some votes, but elections are won by 80-some votes. He was outspent, but he put together this massive grassroots movement of patriotic Americans. Matt Bevin, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me back on. And I'll tell you, I'm going to give you full credit for pushing us over the top. You were gracious enough to have us on about a week out. And I'm telling you, 83 votes is indeed living proof of how critical it is to turn out to the ballot box. It really is. Every vote mattered in an unbelievable way out of hundreds of thousands that were cast. What a testament it is to the very grassroots you mentioned.
So what happens now? Do we have a good losers, or are you going to be challenged? Is there a process in Kentucky? What happens now?
There's not an automatic recount based on certain percentages, as some states have or have the ability for. There is something called a recanvassing process, but we use an electronic voting methodology. There are no hanging chads. There are no gray-haired ladies with buns and little notepads, or those days of, well, this got dropped or that got missed. It's over, and so it's really a formality. It's called recanvassing. It will take place next Thursday. The fellow who came in 83 votes behind me did, in fact, ask for a recanvass, and I applaud him for doing it because, frankly, had it been me, I'd have done the same. He owes it to his supporters out of respect to ensure that everything went according to plan. Now, all the county clerks have already said there were no anomalies, so we expect this to be a formality. We did, in fact, win. All the conversations we're having with legislators in the state, with congressmen, with other governors, are all based on the fact that everyone recognizes this as a win, albeit a remarkably razor-thin win, and that's a good thing. Again, it has reinvigorated people's belief in the system and in their belief that they have a voice in that system. And of and by and for the people means more to people today in Kentucky than it did 3 days ago.
Look, a razor-thin victory is a razor-thin victory. George Bush lost the popular vote in 2000. He legitimately won the Electoral College, and he became president. So, I mean, exactly. We do have these razor-thin elections. Now, let me ask you a question. Were you endorsed, or were one of your opponents endorsed by Mitch McConnell?
I will say this. There was no official endorsement by either of our state senators in this race. But with respect to where the chosen candidates, let's just put it this way. I was not the chosen candidate by any elected officials in the state of Kentucky or beyond. And, I'll leave it at that.
Did you get any support from Rand Paul? I'm curious about this, because Rand Paul, he ran against the establishment. He had Tea Party support, but I don't get the sense that he supported you.
He stayed out of this one as well.
Why? I mean, now this is rhetorical. That's not a question for him. I'm saying, well, why? This is what troubles me. I mean, the grassroots rises up, nominates a conservative or a libertarian like Rand Paul. He wins a general election. And then you look around, okay, Matt Bevin has stepped up. Okay, who's backing him? Well, where is he? And he's not there. I know you got to pull the party together because you're going to have a tough race in Kentucky against the Democrat. I get that. But you don't. Go ahead.
What I feel good about is this. We took the high road. We did not smear or demean others. Others took that approach. That's sort of become the standard approach used in politics nowadays, and sadly, very often in the Republican Party. That has been led by certain individuals that have held office for some time.
And in fact, they tried that on you when you were running against McConnell in the Republican primary.
The very same ads were used literally in this race. They just dusted them off, put a different soundtrack to them, and it was the same people producing them, and it's all good. The reality is it didn't work. We beat it by doing what was legitimate. We ran on issues. We ran without the establishment support. We ran actually with a whole lot of vitriol and snarky comments being foisted down upon us, but that's all right because we spoke to the people. And this is still a government of the people. And this is exactly who we made the case to. And the people have held up the fact that we did win this nomination, and now it is our task to take this to a broader constituency, to win across the entire political spectrum. And that's exactly what we'll do because my running mate and I most truly represent Kentucky.
Tell me about your Democrat opponent. I understand this guy's a real leftist.
He is. He's a liberal attorney who's the attorney general right now. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth and has been groomed from birth to become the anointed one. It has not happened. He's run for Congress, he's run for Senate, and now he's running for governor. I look forward to challenging him. I really do. We have very, very different views about what is best for the people of Kentucky.
You know, a liberal with a silver spoon in his mouth, that's very unusual, isn't it?